Hello, people. I'm here with a friend. He's an English teacher as well, and his name is Mike. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself to you right now. How are you today, my friend?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, Tell us who you are, your background.
Okay, well, my name's Mike or Michael. Um, I am from the UK. I'm from a small town in the north called Bridlington, which isn't very famous. Even English people don't know my town. But for the last 5.5 years, I've been living and working in Spain as an English teacher, which has
Mm-hmm.
been super interesting. It's been really, really cool, really, really fun. I've learned a lot. And yeah, I recently, maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, started making content online on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and things like that, in the
Mm-hmm.
hope that I can sort of expand and teach online a little bit.
Very nice. What made you decide to be an English teacher?
Um, it kind of came secondary, to be honest. I think ever since I was a child, ever since I was about 6 or 7, I wanted to leave the UK and I wanted to live in a different country.
Mm-hmm.
I was really interested in language as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started to grow up, I started to realize that the opportunities I had were very limited because of where
Mm-hmm.
I'm from. Because where I'm from is a kind of poor place, part of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I found this program that they had here in Europe called Erasmus Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me the opportunity to move to Spain, where I could be an English teacher for 12 months. And then while I was there, I met my now boss and just got lucky, really. He gave me a job teaching English, kind of taught me how to teach, and I've just been here ever since. It was great.
Mm-hmm. How is it to be an English teacher in a foreign country? How does it feel?
Hmm. Um, at first, it's difficult because there are certain things, there are certain sort of customs in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
for example, that are
Mm-hmm.
very different to the UK. Very different. Even small things like the way they talk to teachers. In the UK, it's very, yes, Mr. Teacher, yes, Mrs. Teacher. In Spain, it's just Mike. There's
Mm-hmm.
little things like that, which at first to me, it was hard to adjust to. It felt very disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of learned to live with that. And yeah, I think I'm now a better teacher in Spain than I am in the UK because obviously I'm more used to the custom.
You create amazing content
Thank
on
you very much.
TikTok and on YouTube. How do you come up with those ideas?
I have no idea, to be honest. That's a really good question. Um, some of the time I see other people's content and I kind of think that's good, but I think I can sort of make my own little twist and make it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like yesterday, for example, I was talking to my brother and he said something, he said a saying that I'm going to make a video about. And I hear things like that and I think I have to show people this. So I kind of start with like a certain phrase or saying and then
Mm-hmm.
create the video around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of do things like that. The advantage I have is that obviously I am English. So when I talk to my friends and my family, just in regular conversation, they kind of come up with these words and phrases that I haven't heard in years.
Mm-hmm.
And I find things like that interesting. It's super cool to me to think there's
Mm-hmm.
probably some guy in Argentina or Brazil maybe that has no idea what that means. I can show him, you know?
Yeah. How do you identify with non-native teachers of English in that
Mm-hmm.
sense?
So my opinion on non-native learners of English
Mm-hmm.
is I really think it depends. Like, again, that's a difficult question. I like difficult questions. I think in some cases, I personally, to learn Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
would prefer to learn from someone who isn't Spanish because they have the experience of having learned the language. You know, they can basically give you what they were given years before, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So I
Mm-hmm.
think for me at least, that is a big
Mm-hmm.
advantage. And then to practice, obviously, I'd prefer to practice with a native. But as far as learning from a teacher, it doesn't bother me. I think something I would be careful with is if you're a non-native teacher of English, you have to have very good English, you know, because English is a hard language, and I've seen it before in my life. I've met some really good teachers. I've met some not very good teachers, and the thing that makes the not very good teachers not very good is their English isn't as good as it needs to be. So I think if you can find a really good non-native English speaker, in my opinion, they're almost better than a native because they've learned the language.
I agree with you because I teach English in Brazil for a long time, as I told you before. I know the pitfalls because I have gone through the same process that my student now is going through. What is a beautiful memory that you have from your journey as an English teacher so far?
So for me, one of my favorite kind of beautiful memories of English teaching, my accent is very unique. It's not like received pronunciation, we call it.
Yeah.
So there are certain words and there are certain letters that where I'm from, pronounce differently. Like the letter A. I wouldn't say A, I'd say E. That's my accent. When I first started teaching in Spain, I had a class of 6-year-old students, 5 and 6-year-old students. So I was teaching them how to say the letters. And hearing them say the letters back in my own accent was amazing. It was A, B, C, D, E. And we got to K and it was K. And just hearing my own accent be said back to me was absolutely incredible.
I want you to please give an advice to my audience on why they should keep studying English.
I think everybody in general should study English because it really sort of opens your mind and it opens your world, you know? I think we've all met people who are very sort of insular and they don't want to leave their town. They don't want to know the world. Sometimes there are people who can't leave the town or can't see their world. And I think learning another language like English is a way to kind of bring the world to you, you know? Before I moved to Spain, I only spoke English. But learning Spanish has made everything feel that much closer and that much more possible. You know, it's like a way of experiencing other cultures without actually going out and doing it.
Awesome. One last question before we go to the rapid round game. You told me that you have been to Brazil. How was the experience?
It was amazing. I absolutely loved Brazil. It was only this past summer. I spent all of August and all of September in São Paulo. I spent a little bit of time in Minas Gerais, in Belo Horizonte, and it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. Obviously, things were kind of different because of the coronavirus, but it was amazing. The food over there is incredible. I kept saying I went to see one of my friends at the time, and I kept telling her that the food in Brazil is just everything with everything on top. It was amazing. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed my time there, and I'd love to go back. Minas Gerais was a little bit different. I enjoyed it, but it was very sort of hilly, you know. But it was incredible. I love Brazil. Every time I went to like quite a few markets and fairs and things like that in São Paulo. And every single time I'd go there and I'd sort of order something in Portuguese, even though my Portuguese is terrible. And the person would always stop and say, "Where are you from?" in English. "I'm from England." And every single time they'd ask me and they'd be interested, and then they'd try and speak English, which was absolutely amazing to me. There was this one time I think we were in a park in São Paulo, Ibirapuera, and there was some guy sat next to me who wanted to speak to me, but he didn't speak any English. So he was just like listing names of famous footballers, which was cool. Like he was just trying to communicate. And there was another guy who was trying to communicate by listing different bands in the UK. And to me, that's so cool. Like in Spain or in the UK, that wouldn't happen. People wouldn't try to communicate in that way.
I absolutely agree with you. When a Brazilian person tries to use their English with a person who's English or American or whatever, I think they're trying to do their best to make the person feel at home. Well, let's play the rapid round game now. Teaching for me is
Interesting.
being on TikTok and Instagram for me is.
Intimidating.
I agree.
Yeah.
The most beautiful word in English for me is.
Mellifluous.
My expectations for 2022 are.
Oh God. Lockdown. To be
Again,
honest. Yeah.
again. All right. My next station will be.
England.
Good. The Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
The Beatles.
Mike on Mike. How do you define yourself in one word?
Brave.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. The last one from me. What would you tell yourself if you met up with yourself 5 years ago?
Keep going.
Yes. Now it's
Hmm.
your turn. You can ask me the questions.
If you could do any other job, which job would you do?
I would be an English translator.
Wow. Fair enough. Fair enough. How many languages do you speak?
Portuguese and English.
If you could speak any other language, which language would you speak?
French.
Wow, interesting. What's the best thing about teaching English?
Making friends and seeing your student learning. And when they learn, when their eyes shine, it's priceless.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree. What's the worst thing about learning English?
When I can't study English and I can't learn more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The more I learn, the less I know.
Hmm.
I am madly in love with your language since
Hmm.
I was 7 years old.
Mm. No, I get what you mean. It's like finishing a really good book. Like you're
Yeah,
sad that it's finished. You wanna
yeah,
you wanna do it more, you know?
yeah.
British English or American English?
It doesn't matter. Both are awesome because I didn't have the chance to choose in between American English and British English when I was learning.
Hmm.
And as I told you, because of Madonna, I wanted to learn American English because I saw Madonna on TV and she spoke American English, and I wanted to learn American English. But now for me, it doesn't matter. I love both.
Uh, what do you have a story about teaching English, like your most beautiful moment in the classroom?
I call it the pizza story. I had a
Hmm.
student once. We give scholarships to people who can't pay a lot of money. And as a disabled person who needs help most of the time, I also want to help people to crack a new code. This student was around 12 or 13 years old, and he came to me one day. His class was on Monday after the weekend, and he told me, "Teacher, we had a party yesterday at home." I said, "Oh, nice. What were you celebrating?" He said, "We had pizza."
Hmm.
I said, "All right, you had pizza. I love pizza as well, but what were you celebrating?" He said, "No, no, my father bought pizza." So the fact
Oh,
of buying pizza was the celebration.
yeah.
And my
Mm.
eyes filled with tears.
Mm.
Instantly, it triggered me like I'm teaching this kid to crack a code that is going to open many doors. I got really happy. I didn't want to show the student. I was almost crying, but he was so happy because the pizza was the party. And I
Mm.
said, "Oh, it was great." I hope you enjoyed it. But I never forgot the story. Never.
No, I think it shows how much you can sort of help people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the fact that that kid
Yeah.
had a celebration that was just eating pizza,
Yeah.
but he's also able to learn English
Yeah.
to hopefully give his family a better.
Yeah. I
That's
agree.
amazing.
I agree. Well, people, we're getting to the end of the interview. For every guest, I have a sentence, a quote, a takeaway. And for you, Mike, is I saw your content. You are very true when you are speaking to a camera. I think you do a great job. Keep doing it. You speak very peacefully and respectfully, and that's really awesome. I'm really glad that you've been to Brazil already, and I hope you can come back to visit me someday. You'll be very welcome here with us to meet my wife, my children, my family. You have another friend in Brazil now. Whatever you need me, just text me because you speak from the heart as well. It was a huge pleasure to interview you, and the world needs more people like you.
Thank you very much. Just far too kind.
Thank you so much for the interview. People, this was my friend Mike. All his social medias will be in the description box below. I hope you liked it as much as I did. Mike, thank you for the interview. Have a lovely, lovely day. And see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy, he's so humble, he's so dedicated, and he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye bye, God bless.